Welcome back to Play Action Fantasy Football. This is Jonathan here. We're going over our Week 6 starter sits for our running backs. We're going to go ahead and get started Thursday night, Broncos at Chiefs. It's going to be a messy one. They got Javonte Williams, who's questionable. He didn't practice today on Monday. We are recording on Monday. He did not practice today, so he is questionable, and I'm going to have to sit him. It's not looking good for him. He's going to be a sit, and same thing with Samaje Perine. He's going to be a sit as well. However, McLaughlin, on the other hand, he's going to have to be a cautionary start for me. He's kind of proven that he's actually has a lot of potential. So you never really know what these guys can do. If you want to feel risky, put him in your flex spot, and he could definitely get some points there. But I wouldn't put all my money on it. Now the Chiefs running backs, Isaiah Pacheco and McKinnon. Pacheco's got to be a start. He's been showing that he's a great running back. He's going to get points, especially in this Chiefs offense, so he's going to be a start. McKinnon, on the other hand, he's a cautionary start. He hasn't had a great year there behind Pacheco because Pacheco's been playing great. However, McKinnon against the Broncos can definitely catch some passes and get the workload that Pacheco isn't getting. So he's going to be a good flex spot, I think, this week. Next up, we have our Sunday 1 o'clock game, which the first one will be the Ravens at Titans. So for running backs, we're looking at Gus Edwards and Justice Hill for the Ravens. This one's a really torn apart kind of situation. It's kind of like Achane and Mostert, except on a lower level. So I think Gus Edwards and Justice Hill are both cautionary starts. Gus Edwards gets a lot of the runs, gets a lot of those basic yardage, but Justice Hill, he has that explosiveness. He can catch passes, get in the end zone very easily. So they're both going to be cautionary starts. If you feel the need to put one of them in, put them in your flex spot, and that's about as high as I would put them. For the Titans, Derrick Henry, you got to start him. It's going to be hard for me to say not to start him ever, just especially with the Titans offense and how they run things. Derrick Henry's getting the ball a lot, and he can definitely get a lot of touchdowns. So put him in there. He's a start. Tajay Spears, on the other hand, he's a cautionary start. I think he can definitely have a good day, but I would not count on it by any means. He's shown that he has potential as well, but do not put him as a starting running back this week, maybe as a flex if you need him there. Next up, we have Commanders at the Falcons. These running backs are good running backs. We're going to start with Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson for the Commanders. Brian Robinson, he's going to be a cautionary start. He's been leading fantasy, top 10, top 15 this year. However, this week against the Falcons, who's number one against running backs in fantasy, he's going to have to be a cautionary start. Maybe as a flex, maybe as your running back too if you need to, but don't count on too many points from him today or this week. Antonio Gibson, he's going to be a sit. I don't think against this Falcons defense he's going to be able to produce much. Falcons, Bijan Robinson, he's got to be a start. Bijan Robinson's leading that offense. Desmond Ridder isn't doing shit. Bijan Robinson is handling that offense, and he's definitely getting points. Tyler Algier, he started off very good, but it's pretty obvious Bijan is going to be, like I said, running that offense. He gets 80% of the usage. So Tyler Algier is going to have to be a sit this week against a decent Commanders defense. Next up, we have the Vikings at the Bears. Alexander Mattison and Cam Akers for the Vikings. Alexander Madison's definitely a start this week against the Bears. Bears defense is trash. Alexander Mattison definitely can get some good points there. And then Cam Akers, I usually would want to sit him, but against the Bears, again, I think Cam Akers, he's got some talent. He's not the best running back. He's got some talent. So he's a good cautionary start as a flex. He can certainly catch the ball, get out there. He's an outside runner kind of guy, especially against the Bears, can get some points. For the Bears, we're looking at Khalil Herbert, who is questionable, and Travis Homer, who's questionable. It's looking really messed up for the Bears right now. I know they have Rashawn Johnson is also out, or he's questionable as well. So all three of their running backs are questionable, which tells me they're not going to be playing very well. So I definitely want to sit all of them, and except Herbert. Obviously, if Herbert's playing, I'm going to start him, but the other ones, I'm not. Next up, we got the Seahawks at Bengals. For this one, we're looking at Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet for the Seahawks. Kenneth Walker's an easy start. He's a dog. He started last year, and he's continuing this year. He's showing that he really has a lot of potential as long as he could stay healthy, which he hasn't had any issues with that so far. I'm just saying, as long as he stays healthy, I'd be watching out for him. Zach Charbonnet, on the other hand, is going to be a sit. He doesn't get much touches at all there in Seattle, so you want to sit him. Don't want to start him for sure. Bengals, Joe Mixon, easy start. He always is an easy start. I wouldn't look for him to get a ton of points this week, but he definitely is going to be a good start. Chris Evans, Chase Brown, they're wishy-washy. They're not going to get much yardage. They're going to get a couple carries, if that. So you don't want to start either of them in fantasy for sure. Next up, we got the 49ers at the Browns. We got Christian McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell is questionable. So for the 49ers, we're going to have to start McCaffrey. I'm not going over that. Elijah Mitchell, questionable. Going to have to sit him this week, even if he does play. He's all banged up. I don't like him against a good Browns defense. But next up for the Browns, Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt. Jerome Ford's going to be a cautionary start. He showed a lot of potential. The Browns get him the ball a decent amount, so I do think he can put up points. 49ers do have very good defense, though, so he's going to be a cautionary start. Maybe at a flex spot, that'd be a good spot for Ford. But Hunt, on the other hand, as much as I want to say a cautionary start, I'm going to have to sit him. The Browns aren't using him as much as they usually would in a Nick Chubb Hunt backfield. But, yeah, so I don't see him getting a ton of points this week. Going to have to sit him. Next up, Panthers at the Dolphins. Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard for the Panthers. Miles Sanders is a start. Miles Sanders is getting a lot of touches. He's getting a lot of those carries. Adam Thielen is showing up for the Panthers, but other than that, Miles Sanders is pretty much running that one. So Miles Sanders is going to be a start against the Dolphins defense, and Chuba Hubbard I don't think is going to have a very good day. He's going to be a sit. The Dolphins running backs, I don't even know if I need to say this, but Raheem Mostert and Achane, they're both a start. I don't need to cover that too much. They're both dogs, and they're both going to get you points. You start both of them. Colts at the Jaguars. We're looking at Zach Moss and the brand new, fresh off injury, Jonathan Taylor. Zach Moss, he's going to be a start this week. I think against the Jaguars, Zach Moss is very consistent. If anything else, he's consistent. So he's definitely going to get you points. Maybe not an extreme amount of points, but definitely getting you points. So you want to start him. Jonathan Taylor is going to be wishy-washy for me. He's going to be a cautionary start. Jonathan Taylor definitely has shown that he's a very great athlete, great running back. He's proven that he can actually handle the ball very well and get in the end zone and put up a lot of points. But he's going to be a cautionary start this week. We just don't know exactly how they're going to fill him in there in Indianapolis. So Jaguars, Travis Etienne, that's an easy start against the Colts. Colts defense is struggling. Etienne, he's not struggling. Jacksonville's a good offense. So look for Etienne to definitely get a good amount of points. And Tank Bigsby is not going to be getting a lot of points. He doesn't get enough carries to get you a lot of points. So he's going to be a sit. Next up, we have the Saints at the Texans. Alvin Kamara, man, he is going to have one hell of a day against the Texans. I'm telling you that. He's going to be putting up points like it's his job, as if it's not. And Saints, Kendre Miller is going to be the backup. He's a cautionary start as well. I think against the Texans defense, the Saints use their backup, Kendre Miller, so I do see them getting him some points there in Texans Stadium, and definitely want to throw him there in your flex. I think a flex is a good spot for him. But for the Texans running backs, Dameon Pierce, he's a dog, don't get me wrong, but I would sit him this week against the number one rush defense, Saints. He's going to have to be a sit, and Singletary isn't even a question. I don't think he got even a single carry last week, so I'm going to have to sit him as well. And on to the 4 o'clock games, we got the Patriots at the Raiders. We're looking at Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott for the Patriots. They're both cautionary starts. This is like one of those Justice Hill, Gus Edwards kind of deal, Raheem Mostert and Achane kind of deal. I think that Stevenson and Elliott are both questionable starts or cautionary starts. Obviously, Stevenson over Elliott. But I do think that Elliott actually can have a good game this week against the Raiders. And Stevenson, he's always guaranteed some points. So definitely don't be afraid to throw him in your flex. Maybe RB2 if you have to. And Zeke, it might be a good flex for you to pick up this week against the Raiders. Josh Jacobs for the Raiders and Zamir White. Josh Jacobs is a start. He's a man. He's a dog. He's going to get points, especially against the Patriots at home. I don't see how Josh Jacobs doesn't put up good points. Zamir White, I like him, but the Raiders don't get him. They got a lot of other weapons that they don't need Zamir White. He's going to be a sit this week. The next 4 o'clock game we're looking at is the Cardinals at the Rams. And so for this one, we're looking at James Conner, who is very questionable. We're not too sure if he's going to be playing or not against the Rams. But if he does, obviously you want to start him. I like James Conner a lot. He's shown this year exactly what he can do. So, yeah, if he's playing, you definitely want him in there. DeMarcado, he's going to be playing if the Cardinals do not have Conner. And if they're not playing Conner, then DeMarcado is going to be a cautionary start for me. He definitely can put up points. He's got talent. That kid's got talent. So I do think he would be a decent flex spot. Maybe not RB1 or 2, but a good flex spot. The Rams, on the other hand, Kyren Williams, Ronnie Rivers. Kyren Williams, easy start. The Rams, they got some other weapons. They just got Cooper back. They got Nakua, Higbee. They have a decent amount of weapons. However, Kyren Williams is their main running back. He can catch the ball. He's a good outside runner. He's fast. So against the Cardinals defense, I think it's a good start for Kyren Williams. Ronnie Rivers, though, he's going to be a sit. I know Kyren Williams gets all those carries, and Ronnie Rivers is kind of sneaking his way up there. Don't get me wrong, but this week it's going to have to be a sit for me. And next up, we got the Eagles at the Jets. We're looking at DeAndre Swift and Kenneth Gainwell, Breece Hall, and Dalvin Cook. DeAndre Swift is going to have to be an easy start against a struggling Jets defense. Swift has been playing very well. The Eagles use him a lot. DeAndre Swift is an easy start this week and going to get a lot of points for you. Kenneth Gainwell, I think, is a cautionary start. He hasn't shown that he really deserves a very strong cautionary start yet. However, against the Jets, I think the Eagles' offense is optimized enough where they could get Gainwell the ball as well and get some points. Like I said, I wouldn't expect nothing too crazy. And that cautionary start, I'm aiming more towards a flex position for him. The Jets, Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook. Breece Hall's a start. He's a great running back. The Jets use him a lot. And they have some weapons. They definitely do, but they have Zach Wilson. They're going to have to give Breece Hall the ball. Dalvin Cook is going to get points. Don't get me wrong, 2 to 5 points guaranteed, but I don't think he's capable of hitting more than 10 points just based on how the Jets offense works and how much they use Dalvin Cook. They do use him, but I do not see him scoring a lot of points this week against a strong Eagles defense. The last 4 o'clock game we're going to be looking at is the Lions at the Bucks. We got David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Rachaad White, and Keyshawn Vaughn. Montgomery, easy start. I can't even explain it enough. He really has shown up and shown out this year. He's proven that maybe the Bears just weren't really calling the right plays, or I don't know what the deal was, but he's playing very well for the Lions. Easy start this week, especially with Jahmyr Gibbs, who's questionable now. We're not too sure if he's playing or not. Again, this is Monday, so we'll see how that folds out. But Gibbs, if he does play and he is healthy, I think he's a cautionary start. You might want to throw him in a flex position, but he's not going to be a RB1 or RB2 this week against the Bucks. Now for Rachaad White and Keyshawn Vaughn. Rachaad White, as much as I want to start him, he's going to be a cautionary start this week. The Lions, they're scary. I'm not going to lie. And the Bucks, they like to throw the ball. So Rachaad White can definitely catch passes out of the backfield. He's going to get some rushing yards. So he's definitely a solid flex position. Maybe RB2 if you have to. But he's going to be a cautionary start for me this week. And Keyshawn Vaughn, don't worry about him. He's not getting much attention at all. I would have to sit him. Sunday night, we got the Giants at the Bills. Big running backs here. We got Saquon Barkley, who is questionable. Again, we don't know. This is Monday. We're not too sure if he's going to be playing or not. But if he is playing, you can count on him to get you points. You want to start him. And Matt Breida, if Barkley isn't playing, then Matt Breida is going to have to be a cautionary start. He's proven that he can put up points for sure. But against a good Bills defense, we'll have to see. I have to put Breida there in cautionary start, even if Barkley isn't playing. Now, if Barkley is playing, Breida, you might as well count him out. I'm going to have to sit him. Bills running backs, James Cook, Latavius Murray. James Cook is going to have to be a start. He really let me down last week. I don't think he played to his full potential last week, and the Bills really weren't getting him the ball enough. But I think against a struggling Giants defense, especially against the run, James Cook can pull this one off and get a good amount of points this week. So look for that. Latavius Murray, on the other hand, he's going to get a couple carries here and there, but he's not going to get much more than that at all. He's going to have to be a sit this week. And finally, we're at Cowboys and Chargers. Monday Night Football. We're looking at 3 running backs for the Cowboys, 2 for the Chargers. For the Cowboys, we're looking at Tony Pollard. Easy start. I don't have to go over that much. Just know that Chargers defense is struggling, and Tony Pollard is a very good running back, so he's a start. Dowdle, on the other hand, is going to have to be a cautionary start because of the Chargers defense struggling. I think Dowdle has a chance to maybe catch a couple passes, get in the end zone, but I would take him in a flex spot if I only needed him to. I don't think he's a super reliable guy, but he definitely can put up points this week against this matchup. Vaughn is going to have to be a sit. I think Dowdle and Pollard are going to handle that. Deuce Vaughn, he's going to be laying back, put him as a sit. I don't even know if I need to put him on here. Chargers, Austin Eckler, he's questionable. Another guy who's questionable. We're not sure if he's playing. This is Monday, so we'll see. He's cautionary start for me. Even if he is playing against a good Cowboys defense, he's going to be a cautionary start. He's banged up, so he's going to be a good flex position for sure. Maybe RB2, but I would not suggest him for your RB1 this week. And Joshua Kelly, I think that says enough. He's going to have to be a sit. Even if the Chargers don't decide to play Eckler, I think Kelly's not going to have a good day against the Cowboys, and I'm going to have to sit him. Now that will do it for our start-sit running backs week 6. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Jonathan here. Go like, follow. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below, and have a great freaking weekend.